Welcome back, my long, slim icicles. How you doing today? It's Chris here, and today we gotta talk about this guy right here. This is the Ice Tower. Now, before we actually get started, I gotta let you guys know that Ninja Kiwi may buff, change, nerf, do whatever the heck they want to change these towers in some way that may make this guide obsolete. On top of that, I'm not perfect, guys. You know, I do my absolute best. I try and explain these things in the easiest and simplest way possible. But while doing that, you may end up not getting everything 100% perfect. So, hopefully you guys don't mind. I'm still going to try my best for you guys and talk about this guy. So, but before I actually even start, man, I gotta let you guys know that I do end up doing about an hour or so of testing to try and figure out these different towers before I even start my guides. So I try and go in depth and, actually talk about them in a reasonable way, understanding kind of way, on top of whatever I actually do with my videos. So for my previous guides, I had some complaints about them. And, it made me a little upset that people were complaining about such minor things, not talking about one certain part of a tower or something like that. So I do apologize for that, but it was a little upsetting that people got so mad about something so small, at least what I thought was sort of insignificant. Anyways, let's talk about this ice tower right here. First of all, it's actually got sort of a weird amount of popping power throughout like the entirety of it. So if I do send out just 100 bloons over here, I'm going to do just 100 blues just for reference. And if you actually look at his pop count over here, you're going to notice it's going to be 30, 30, 30, 30. You're always going to get 30 out of this guy. And I think throughout every single path, it never gets above 30. But actually goes down for some upgrades, which is actually really interesting for later on, and actually almost is a negative upgrade. But yeah, as a 0-0 Ice Tower, he's very interesting, and I think he's definitely a usable part of your team right here. So the thing about him is he's more of a support tower, so when we talk about him by himself, it's sort of difficult to explain, because usually you're going to want to combine him with something, whether it's a boomerang, or a tack shooter, or something else that can pop these frozen balloons. And this is something that I actually want to talk about before I even get into all the different paths. Frozen balloon popping power. This is really goofy, because you may actually not understand the towers that can pop frozen balloons or not. So the dart monkey, the boomerang, the tack shooter, the sniper, all these guys over here, as a 0-0, cannot pop the frozen balloons. Oh, that's why I'm like, what the heck? Summer doesn't fit. The monkey ace, the heli pilot, all these guys can't pop the frozen balloons. I'm not even going to go into the spike factory, but all these guys are just like standard, like, nope, just can't do it. Won't be able to do it. It's okay. It's understandable. We can't pop the frozen balloons. But some other towers that you just noticed that I didn't put down may actually be able to pop the frozen balloons as a 0-0 tower, sort of unexpectedly. And that's all of the magic towers right here. I haven't checked out the wizard yet, but the super monkey, the ninja, the druid, and the alchemist, I'm like 99% sure about the alchemist, can all pop frozen balloons. I think I'm just going to throw down the wizard there too, because it would just be so weird if this guy couldn't pop them. Well, all the rest of these magic towers can. But this is actually as a 0-0 tower, which is actually ridiculous. So if I just make this into a larger radius ice tower over here, and I sent out 999. Let's change to 999, guys. 999. Alright. 999, but we're going to send out these balloons right here. And what we're going to notice, hopefully at least, is that once we freeze the balloons, all these towers can still end up hitting them, or at least do damage. It's very hard to tell, but if you look at the pop count over here, you should be able to at least see it. So if we look at the pop count of the super monkey over here, he is going up while attacking this ice tower while it's frozen or not frozen. Same thing with the ninja. Even if it's frozen, the pop count should be going up. Same thing with the wizard. It looks like, I believe he's also going up while this thing's frozen too, so that's pretty freaking sweet. And then the druid as well. Even while it's frozen, his pop count is still going to go up. So, just a fairly interesting concept to the game over here, that all of these towers you can combine with an ice tower early on in the game and they'll still be effective. And this might actually be a very good combination with Open Greenfoot. If you use him with an ice tower in combination with some ninjas or something like that, we might have a surprisingly good defense over here. I think combining ninjas and ice towers is probably going to be one of the most surprising, decent combinations for us in this game. Alright, so we really haven't even talked about the ice tower and its upgrades yet. We've been just talking about the the combinations of all the towers that we can use, because he is a support tower. We got to think about him in terms of how we're going to make our other towers do a better job popping balloons in combination with this guy. So his 0-0 is actually reasonably expensive, but for what he does, he's really solid. For example, if I sent out, simply know his pop limit's 30, I'm only going to send out 30 of these guys. We got him in like a decent spot. Let's put him in like a little bit better spot, like right here. With no extra upgrades. This is just a 0-0 ice tower. We send out 30 greens. We'll try yellows, we'll try pinks. We're going to see if we can pop all these guys. But bam, bam, and bam. We take down these green balloons. Yellow balloons, I think we can take down the yellows as well. Pink balloons might be a little bit too tricky for. Oh, whoa, really? He missed that. Okay. So it looks like the yellow balloons are a little bit too fast for us already. But this is just a 0-0 tower in a spot that is not perfect. There's some other maps where the balloons are going to go all the way around like that before they end up leaking. And, on like, on a lot of those circular maps where you got those little, like, nice little tack shooter type spots, these guys are going to be freaking ridiculous, guys. Absolutely insane. Now, once you get up to this upgrade right here, this is Permafrost. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read each upgrade individually, because people seem to like that when I read out the upgrade before I even talk about it. Bloons move more slowly even after thawing out. This is actually a really fun one because it lasts forever. So if I did send out those yellow balloons again, now we've got, after they get unthawed, you can see, boom, okay, we get, whoa, the yellow balloons, like, for a $100 upgrade here, guys, now we're going from yellows down into nothing with, like, out any issues. Let's try some pink balloons in here, man. Boom, and keep in mind, this is 30 pink balloons right here. Go boom, 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 and we take them all the way. Oh, what, really? It looks like it's in range, but I guess it's not. But the interesting thing is, if I sent out some more red balloons over here, you're going to notice that there's a pretty interesting speed difference here. So because these are permafrosted, they are going to be this speed until you end up popping them down to the next layer. So if I had some pink balloons sneaking through or something like that, and they were still slowed down, if I pop them down into yellows, they would speed up again. So you can have two different speeds of yellows and pink balloons kind of on the screen at the same time. It's actually really interesting to think about, but it's just a fun upgrade for super duper cheap, guys. If you're going to get an ice tower and you're not planning on getting anything much more than a low-level ice tower, Permafrost is definitely the way to go. Alright, Ninja Kiwi being jerks again, making us buy Metal Freeze over here. Alright, that's fine. What they're going to do is basically now we can pop lead balloons. If you guys don't know, by the way, I would assume that this is sort of common knowledge by now, but white balloons, zebra balloons, and lead balloons are immune to the low-level ice towers until we buy the Metal Freeze. This includes any sort of reinforced, whites and zebras and such, they will not be hurt. And on top of that, I believe there's only one ice tower that can actually... There's two... Only 5th tier ice towers can hurt the Moab class balloons. That's something kind of important to note as well. Alright, moving on. We've got ice shards. This is actually one that I gotta let you guys know. I don't fully understand ice shards, embrittlement, or the 5th tier super brittle over here. It's really complicated to understand exactly what's going on, but I'll try and do my best to try and explain what we got. Now, the ice shards will not work by itself. You need to have towers that can pop the frozen balloons. So if I did send out something like, I don't know, let's do a spacing of 2. We're going to do 2, we'll do 100 or something like that. We'll do 300. Pink balloons, and then we're going to pop in a quick boomerang right here. We're going to see if we can kind of see what the heck's going on, but I'll let you guys know that this is not perfect. It's actually sort of bad. We're going to improve rings and glaives as well, just to see if we can see the ice shards actually in action over here. So let's do 50 pink balloons over here. What we want to see is we want to see the balloons get frozen, go down one layer, and then after the boomerang starts to attack again, he should, start spraying out some shards and basically pop some extra balloons over here. So what this is it's not like an all-around, full-out, kill-everything tower, but it's more of a thin out the balloons. If you have big groups of balloons coming out, you have a couple extra towers that can pop the frozen balloons, you're going to thin them out really, really well with these ice shards. You can see when the ice tower is just doing regular damage, it doesn't do all that much, but when the boomerang finally throws at the right time and he ice shards the balloons all the way around him, it works wonderfully. But what's really happening here is anytime you have a frozen balloon that gets popped by our boomerang, for example here, it shoots out some ice shards, kind of like a frag cannon or something like that. But each balloon that's frozen and gets popped shoots out ice shards. So the more balloons that you have on the screen getting frozen and getting sharded equals more pops. So bigger groups can get affected quite drastically by these towers. Also, I gotta let you guys know that I am a little bit on the sick side, so I'm sorry that, I'm sorry if this video sucks at all. Once we move on to embrittlement, it's very similar, but now the balloons take extra damage. So when we read about this, razor sharp shards fly out when the frozen balloons pop. Balloons become brittle and take extra damage while frozen. So it's very similar to what's going on over here. If we pop our boomerang back in here and we get him up to you know, one of these upgrades, we send out those 50 pinks again. What's going to happen here is that he's not only going to go down multiple layers here. Now, once this boomerang hits these balloons, they're basically like, they just get annihilated. I believe it goes through 3 extra layers. You know, green's down to nothing over here. I don't know if it does much more than that, though. It might only do 2 layers, though. I can't be certain because the ice shards kind of combines with the other balloons when you're popping it, and it's just really hard to tell exactly what's going on. And this is why the ice towers are really, really complicated. And as I told you guys, I can't even guarantee you that exactly what I say is going to be the 100% truth. Layers with these things are just ridiculous. Once you get up to super brittle, though, I can tell you that it does do 5 layers of damage. So these pinks go down to nothing. On top of that, any balloons that you have that get frozen, when they get popped, now we're doing 5 extra layers of damage by any other tower. So we can actually show this to you guys very simply with a Moab class balloon, because finally we can affect Moab class balloons over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out one single Moab. Now this is going to work the exact same way with all the regular balloons. We're going to build a dart monkey here, though. We're going to build a dart monkey here. We're going to build a dart monkey here. I'm also just going to hit the larger radius just to make sure I get everything inside of the range over here. And then we send out just one single Moab. What you're going to notice is that this dart monkey is going to throw at the dart, and he's going to do 1 popping power, 1 damage to this Moab class balloon. Once this guy starts getting in the range, it's going to do 5 damage per shot. 5, 5, 5, 5. But what you're going to notice about this dart monkey is he's going to do 5, 10, 15, 20. What? Is this a ridiculously strong dart monkey? No, what we're doing is we're powering up our other towers. Well, not really. What we're really doing is we're making the balloons weaker, which makes our towers seem stronger. So we do 5 times damage to Moab class balloons, ceramic balloons, etc., etc., etc. So if you have any extra towers over here, this guy can just be like an amazing support tower. Anything that gets frozen, boom, it's probably going to die by your next attack. Which is pretty sweet, man, especially if you come on him with like a robo monkey or something like that, that can just slice through the balloons. In fact, we could even kind of test that out right here. Let's try it out, man. Let's see if a good combination over here. It's gonna be nice. Let's just do a little plasma monkey. We're gonna send out a pretty decent amount of balloons over here. I don't want to do too many because, as you guys probably know, this guy's pop count is still only 30. All right, he doesn't get more than 30. It's still only 30. I wish it was more, but it's not. So if I do a spacing of 1, I'll send out 999 balloons. We'll just do some, I don't know, zebras. Should mention that this guy can also pop zebra and white balloons now at this point in the game. You can see the ice shards is really just freaking annihilating these balloons over here. The plasma's not even necessary. You might even actually be able to pop this all by himself. Oh, no, he can't. So you can see the combination over here is working out wonderfully. Even just a 0-0 Super Monkey, though, is like helping out a bunch already. These frozen balloons, once they get popped by this guy, is awesome. Let's do some laser blasts, man. Except the plasma might be the key. Or maybe my positioning was just beastly or something like that. Let's put him on last. Let's see if that'll work out a little better. Oh, I don't know, man. It's really close, but it looks like, yeah, if you put him on last, seems to be a little bit stronger over here. But my other positioning just seems so much gosh darn better for some reason. I guess shooting those frozen balloons seems to help out a lot. No, maybe not. Alright, so you can tell this guy, he's like a balloon thinner-outerer. He's okay and everything. I probably won't use him in any of my games, unless I plan on using him for Moab, Zomagod, and BFB popping power. And that's where his real power arises. If you had 999 Zomagods coming out over here, and we could attack 30 Zomagods at a time and 5 times our damage against these guys, I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. Doing 5 times damage just by having them be frozen. I should also mention, though, that this guy, even though it says he freezes the balloons, watch this. Let's read this out really quick, guys. Let's read this out. Balloons take huge damage while frozen, including Moab class balloons. They don't freeze, though. You know, if I did send out just a single Moab over here, it's not going to freeze from this Moab. It gets, like, damaged. It gets frozen-ish, but it doesn't get really frozen. It doesn't actually slow down or do anything like that. Alright, so that's going to be the top path ice tower. He's really goofy, actually probably one of the most complicated towers in the game to fully understand him, and also to use him correctly. The middle path is a little bit easier to understand, but kind of bad, actually. Enhanced freeze. Let's read this out really quick. We got enhanced freeze, attacks faster and freezes for longer. Deep freeze freezes through 2 layers of bloons. So enhanced freeze, it's kind of self-explanatory. A little bit faster, a little bit better. Alright, cool. But deep freeze is not necessarily self-explanatory. You might be thinking, okay, if we get deep freeze, we're going to freeze through 2 layers of balloons. So if I sent out a pink balloon, we're going to go down to a green balloon, freeze through 2 layers. What we're noticing is that that's not the case. We're only freezing through 1 layer. Is this broken? Is it a bug? No, it just means that we're freezing through 2 layers, but we're not popping through 2 layers. So if we had something like a boomerang over here, put them on last, and we have the red hot rings. If we sent out a pink balloon, after we freeze the balloon, after I pop it down to a green, it doesn't unfreeze and go on its way like it normally would. Now we're still freezing through 2 layers. By itself, it's not necessarily a good upgrade, but it can definitely just freeze the towers for a little bit longer and make your ice tower already being decent be a little bit better. Alright, moving on now, we've got the Arctic Wind, which is very sad as an upgrade. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but in BTD5, the Arctic Wind was like the most used tower in the game. We loved it. It was amazing. But it's got nothing good about it this game. It's still got the ridiculous 30 pop count limit. So if I send out 30, let's just send out, let's do 300, I guess, with a spacing of 0. Spacing of 0. And I'm going to get rid of this guy really quick, and we're going to just send out, I don't know, let's just do some yellow balloons. And what you notice is the pop count's going to go 37. Oh my god, really? Are you kidding me, dude? 37. Still try to freeze. 67, and then 97, and then, 127 here. So it's just like, really, that's all we're doing with this guy is just 30 damage still. What is the bonus of spending $5,000 for this tower right here? He seems very similar, just a 0-2-0. Well, what we do is we get to slow down balloons. Alright, so anything in its range over here doesn't just have the permafrost kind of working on it to slow them down after they get thawed. We can also get slowdown just by being in the range. So if I send out these 300 pinks again, if you look at the speed of the pinks, or the speed of the yellows, while they're in the range, they will be slower, and then as soon as they leave the range, they're going to start speeding up again. And that's why it's kind of funny, because I feel like the permafrost, if we freeze the balloon at any point, we slow it down for the rest of the map. With the Arctic Wind, we have to be in the range, and it costs $6,000. Like, what? Yeah, so right now, Arctic Wind's like just an overpriced upgrade for what you get. I understand that it can affect infinite balloons, so if I did have 999 ceramics coming out, he is going to slow down all of them to 50% right here, but still not be able to pop more than it normally can. So that's up to you on what you think, whether you think this guy's worth it or not. Generally, I would say no, unless you would like a perfect spot on your map or something like that in combination with like a 4th tier cannon and some other stuff that can like stun and stall the balloons. This guy's probably just not worth it for you. Moving on though, this is an interesting one. Snowstorm, 1,530 bucks. Okay, so what are we going to do with this guy? Let's try his oh my god, a BFB. Let's let these guys kind of get on the screen over here. We're going to do a mob, a ceramic, a rainbow, zebra, blah, 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 blah. Just launch these guys out in here and see what the heck happens. On top of the fact that we do have to wait for our ability to come back, which takes a ridiculously long time, I might add. So let's do a ceramic, a rainbow, a zebra, blah, 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 blah. And let's see what the heck gets popped over. We're actually getting a little bit of lag. Oh, I'm doing 999. That's why it's so slow. Oh, just want to do one. Alright, there we go. The cooldown is still pretty long, though, for the ability that we get, man. Oh, my god. Boy, is it. So we got a mob coming out, I think. Yeah, there it is. Ceramic, rainbow, zebra, blah, 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 blah. So what the heck is actually going to get affected by this snowstorm right here? So let's use it. Go. Alright. So we froze the balloons. Alright, all the balloons on the screen, we didn't affect mobs, we did not affect BFBs, did not affect Zomagods. And the balloons got frozen for like 5 seconds. That's it? Really? For an ability? So we got to think about it like this. We spent 1,500 bucks on this thing, so like, oh, okay, alright, I understand that aspect of it, but to be able to only stun for like 5 seconds just seems worth it, on top of this sort of already bad 3rd tier ice tower, or seemingly bad 3rd tier ice tower. Going up to this guy just seems not worth it. Now, oh man, 5th tier absolute 0. This guy's gotta be beastly right here, man. He's gotta be the best tower in the game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna speed this up again. Wait for our ability to come back over here. We're going to send out a Oh My God, a BFB. We're going to do the same thing to do a Moab, Rainbow, Ceramic, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to see what can we stun with this guy. Basically, what he does, just to read these real quick, Super Cold Aura that slows down Bloons, Snowstorm, ability freezes all Bloons on the screen for a short time, ability So Cold that it freezes all Bloons, including Cold Immune and Moab class Bloons. Okay, alright. So, man, oh man. This guy is probably the worst 5th tower in the game, if you ask me. He's just not worth it. He does this, I believe he does the same amount of stunnage, but now we can affect Moab class Bloons, but only for like 5 seconds or something like that. Like, okay, let's use our ability really quick. Bam, Shazam. So we slow down Moabs, we slow down BFBs, we don't even stun them, we just slow them down for a few freaking seconds. That was not sped up there, guys. That was on slow speed right there. We do it with the Bloons as well. We do stun the Bloons, which is nice. But for $27,000, $30,000 over here, what? No, bad, terrible. Get out of here, man. We don't even want to talk about you right now. But what we do want to talk about is the bottom layer, the bottom path up in here. So probably one of the most important upgrades in the game is the larger radius for the Ice Tower. Or the most important upgrades for the Ice Tower itself. I believe that Ninja Kiwi actually recently buffed the Ice Tower to make his 0-0 range bigger. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm fairly certain that they made his 0-0 range bigger. So that's pretty cool, man. Now, you know, just a 0-0, like having a decent amount of range is pretty reasonably helpful. And then this larger radius can be even greater. Now we actually have like a good chunk of area where we can hit these Bloons. And as I probably should just mention this right now, out of all the Ice Towers in the game, I think the best Ice Tower is the Permafrost larger radius Ice Tower in a good position. If you pop this guy in a good position over here, we can affect a lot of Bloons. You can kill so freaking many of these guys. Even if I send out, let's see, I don't know, 30 pinks. Just like, okay, yellows, greens, like, oh my god, dude, we're just like, these are 30 Bloons at a time, man. We're taking these things down. Like, this is pretty insane. And this isn't even like a good spot on the game. This is just like a decent spot that like kind of works for this map, sort of in the front, so we can just get rid of the Bloons really quickly. He's probably my favorite Ice Tower, and probably the only one that I'm actually going to use quite often. But anyways, larger radius just gives him a pretty sizable radius increase. Refreeze, this is interesting because it gives us the ability, partially, to get infinite stunning power. So you guys mentioned that you wanted me to start using these Bloons right here more often to show the pop count and stuff like that. I don't think they're very pretty, and I actually think they're kind of hard to understand in a lot of situations. But they do work in some spots. But because what you can do is you can look at the pop count over here and see what they're doing and how they're actually working. But now with the refreeze, it actually is basically worthless with one of them. But if you've got 2 of them or 3 of them up to refreeze over here, you might be able to stun the Bloons infinitely, because they just keep refreezing and refreezing and refreezing those Bloons right there. Especially if you time it correctly. I don't know the exact perfect timing over here, but bam, bam, bam. Now we can't actually stun the Bloons legit forever, because, well, Bloons pop. Alright, even the ones that are, you know, every Bloon is going to pop. Moabs are going to sneak through. Ceramics will eventually pop. Rainbows will eventually pop. Zebras and whites don't get affected. Leads, purples, pinks, yellows, blah, 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 will all eventually get popped over here. So, and on top of that, like, do we really get infinite perfect stunning over here? As you can plainly see, no. So this is going to be some sort of game change where we, like, start building snipers or something like that and just, like, spam some 4th tier snipers, use all our abilities and get some extra money? No, that will not be the case, guys. But it is just something sort of interesting to note that we can do something like that. Now, actually, a very odd upgrade in the game is actually the Cryo cannon, because you have to think ahead for this guy. Because normally, I would put an Ice Tower sort of in a spot where a 0-0 Ice Tower action can work. But if you're thinking ahead here, you might want to end up putting him in a different spot that seems almost bad as it currently is, but will be good as a Cryo cannon. Also, for some reason, Ninja Kiwi puts him automatically on close, but I think first is probably better. Or you're strong, or last, or something like that is probably better. Whatever you're feeling, man, whatever you're feeling at that time, but this guy's interesting because now he can aim, but the more interesting thing is now his pop count goes down. What? So I sent out 999 reds over here. Or these guys, whatever. You can see his pop count's going to be 20, 40, 60. What? Really? So we're doing only 20 damage now. By spending $1,700 extra, $2,000 extra up in here, and we get less popping power? What? This is just really goofy, and I'm not really sure that this guy is going to be worth it for most of us. The interest in these, yes, he does get a lot of extra range, and that pop count probably won't get reached anyways, or plan not popping 30 balloons every single time anyways, but even just as a partial downgrade, I'm not a huge fan. On top of that, the area of effect is much, much, much lower. Now, the only thing we're going to affect over here is this little tiny area, where with a regular lower level ice tower that we don't have to spend $1,700 extra on, we get this entire area of effect right here. This is a lot of room for the balloons to snake through. Of course, you give up a little bit of accuracy by having just, you know, whatever this ice tower's range is, but at the same time, I find them to be a lot better for a lot cheaper. So keep that with a grain of salt here, guys. The only thing that this guy's really good against is that he can just infinitely freeze without any issues whatsoever. He basically gets the like awesome upgrades almost for free, I guess. So, and then he's actually really good against ceramics as well. So if I just clear out these guys out, let's clear this guy out and this guy out. We're gonna just send out a couple of ceramics over here. We'll just do 30 ceramic, or 20. Let's do 20 because that's how many he can affect at a time. It's going to look pretty good right here because, you know, obviously, well, bam, 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 he just knocks those ceramics down to nothing. That looks pretty freaking sweet, right? But if I did send out, like, something with spacing, if I send out 20 ceramics with a spacing over here, is it going to work just as well? You can see the area of effect is much worse. And unless you get these guys piled up on top of each other, like, perfectly, it may not be as awesome as you want it to be. So I don't know. He seems like he's pretty good against ceramics, but sort of bad against some other types of balloons, like pink balloons and stuff like that. He's okay, but for spending that much money, I don't find him to be worth it all that much. Keep in mind that you also have to plan ahead and position him in a spot where he's going to be able to do a good job as a third tier ice tower rather than just a first and second tier. Now, Icicles, I actually don't understand this upgrade. I'll be straight with you guys. I don't understand the upgrade completely. It seems like it just does more damage to the balloons. On top of the Icicles being able to damage zebras and stuff like that as well. So it's kind of cool, but I don't understand exactly what it's doing just by looking at it. In fact, if you noticed, when we sent out 20 ceramics before, we popped those guys all down to zebras and stuff like that pretty easily. But here, we left some ceramic balloons, we left some like white balloons over here, like we just left a bunch of random balloons kind of sneaking through. It's like, is it worth it? Heck if I know, dude. I don't know. Like, I probably wouldn't buy this guy because it doesn't seem like he's doing a better job, basically. And what we can do is we can even compare here. Let's send out 40 ceramics against a Cryo cannon and a Icicles. Let's do 50. We'll just see what happens, man. We'll see what kind of pop count we got. So we had 0 and 0. Do 50 ceramics over here, just to kind of see what they're going to do. It doesn't need to be perfect or anything like that. We just want to kind of compare the pop counts a little bit, though they are on close. So maybe I should change them to first. And what do we get after all is said and done? Well, this guy can pop zebras and stuff like that. This guy can't, and we got an extra 20 pops. So for like 700 bucks, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to be worth it for me. Maybe I don't understand this guy fully, and that is 100% acceptable right there, guys. You might have to combine him with like some other towers or something like that to make him worthwhile. We could try this guy, get some ceramics again, see if he ends up doing like a lot more popping power or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't look it to me, but who knows, man. As I told you guys, this one's the confusing upgrade for me. I don't really know what it does. It just seems to do things. It Icicles things. All right, cool. And the last upgrade over here is probably actually the best ice tower in the game, and possibly one of the best towers in the game as well. Icicle Impale. Now this guy, the way you want to use him is you probably want to use him against Zomagod, BFB, Boab class balloons. Even DDTs, actually, as well. DDTs is really freaking solid against these guys. Though he does do a weird amount of slowdown to each one of these guys. So watch this. Do the Icicle Impale over here. We're going to send a Zomagod, and you're going to see, like, oh, crap. We're going to get one of these guys coming out. Just one. Just one Zomagod coming out. And you can see I'm going to leave it on sped up. And we're going to see this guy kind of go to town. We're going to like, okay, we're going to slow down the zone. We got a pretty drastic amount right here. I don't know, maybe 50% or something like that. We're sending a mob over here. And we're going to slow this guy down a ton as well. Maybe 50, 60% or something like that. We can even take it down in 4 shots. When we send a BFB over here, though, what's going to happen with this guy? It doesn't seem to slow him down almost at all, which is really goofy. I noticed that when I was making my 5th tier video, so it's just goofy that that happens. But a DDT, holy oh, so we can't hit him yet. Alright, so we're going to have to do a quick one of these guys up to radar scanner, and then we're going to send another DDT over here. And watch the slowdown, guys. Boom! We, like, knock it down to, like, nothing. It's like Moab speed right there. Isn't that freaking insane? Moab speed, dude. What? So for some reason, we knocked DDTs down to Moab speed, which is probably the best aspect of this Icicle impale right here. As you can see, we're not really good against the Bloons. We're still just doing our 4th tieredness against the Bloons over here. And against regen Bloons, it actually looks like it's making it almost worse. What? It looks like it's making it worse over here against these DDT Bloons inside. So that's the interesting aspect of him. He also does 50 damage per shot, so we can show this with a Moab. We can do a quick Icicle impale over here. We can send another quick Moab over here. And you can see we can watch 50, 100, 150, 200, and of course Moabs have 200 health, so we're going to knock this guy out in 4 hits right there, which is freaking sweet, man. I love it, I love it. Of course, we're doing the exact same thing against Zomogods and BFBs, but on top of just hitting 1 balloon, he can go up to hitting, I believe it's 20 balloons. I'm going to send out... we'll do 20... Let's do 20 BFBs over here. I'm going to put this guy on last. And this is the way that I would normally use him. Either put him on last or strong, and just kind of let him shoot sort of down like a straightish line. Maybe like put him somewhere like here instead, so I can at least aim a little bit within this nice little nook right here. But he's going to do some extreme damage right here. See, like 22, 3200, 4200. That's why we're doing 50 damage per shot against these 20 balloons. If I was able to send out... Oh, crap. If I was able to send out a... an extra 21 BFBs over here. Sadly, we will not do any more damage. It's going to be 1,000 damage per shot. Let's see, once we actually get the other thing right. Yeah, 1,000 damage per shot against these guys. Still extremely powerful and everything, but you're going to notice the last like, BFB and everything is not going to hit the exact same rate as the other ones. So, not unbelievably super crazy Pierce right there. But that's more than enough BFBs, oh my god, and Moab Power, even for around like 97 and 98 and 99. Like, there's not that many oh my god BFB balloons coming out over here. So this guy is just awesome. Alright, the last thing that I wanted to talk about for the Ice Tower is just the combinations. As I told you guys earlier, I like the 101 as one of my lower level Ice Towers over here. Everything else is like up for grabs. Like if you need lead popping power, go for the metal freeze. If you want the deep freeze, if you want 2 layers of freezing, go for the deep freeze. If you want the larger radius is probably going to be one of the most important things, even for the top path. So if you're going to go for either the top or the middle path, you probably want to get the bottom path as well. Then refreeze just doesn't hurt, because now you can just refreeze frozen balloons, especially if you combine them with other ice towers to make yourself even better. So that's pretty much it for the Ice Tower, guys. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Hopefully I did a decent enough job explaining the Ice Towers to you. If I didn't, let me know what mistakes I made in my video. Put them down in the comments. Please try and be a little bit nice to me, because I am a little sick. And I gave the disclaimer right at the very beginning, too. So, yeah, if you guys want to be nice to me, that'd be awesome. Press the like button, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.